The goal of today is to kind of give you an idea of what a successful sales event looks like. And you'll see this from everybody out there. So most things are sold from an event. So in other words, if I'm going to, so today I'm going to kind of teach you some of the stuff behind the scenes, but then I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm doing for my next launch, which is for one of my Think and Grow Rich workshops. But one of the things that you'll notice is almost everyone that does this, they will have a live sales event, whether they call it a webinar, whether they call it a masterclass, a challenge, whatever it is that they call it, whatever format that you want to call it. But it's still really a sales event, and they all have the same things in them. So successful ones all have followed the same kind of thing. So that's really what today is about. I want you to see that, and so you can be able to deliver this on yours. And depending on, so again, this framework will work for anything, webinars, masterclass, whatever it is. I would like to think that the higher the ticket price of what you're charging, the more that you have to have in your sales event. So for instance, if you have a $10,000 or $25,000 offer, you're not going to sell it on a 30-minute webinar, a 30-minute sales event, right? It's just not going to happen. And the same token, if you have a $97 offer, you don't want to do a 5-day full immersion event to sell a $97 offer. They're both identical, but the higher the value that you're asking, the more value you have to give during the sales event. And the sales event is not just asking for a sale. The sales event is actually adding value while doing some things from a psychological standpoint. And that's what we're going to go to today. What really is involved in a really successful webinar, or for this, we'll call it a webinar. But again, masterclass, challenge, whatever format you want, you still do the same thing. Just each piece is either longer or shorter, depending on what format that you're going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Now, one of the questions that I get is, why do I always use these very easy drawings? You'll see I do these stickman. It's like that's the thing. And there's a very good reason for it. So one, this is from Dr. Thurman Fleet. I think it was back in the 1930s. He came out with stickman, and it was a way for him to easily teach so people could understand at the time he was doing stuff called concept therapy. And I use this because everything you see, so part of what stickman is your brain basically controls everything, but then you have your 5 senses, right? Sight, hearing, what you smell, what you taste, and what you touch. Now, every single one of your senses, everything you see, everything you smell, everything you taste, triggers an association in your subconscious mind. Even though you might not consciously be thinking about it, subconsciously, everything you see triggers. So if I have images on there that has a person, like here's Stickman standing right here, right? But if I had someone in realistic photograph there, you're subconsciously, you will look at him and say, oh, well, I don't like that suit, or I don't like how he's dressed, or you make all of these things on a subconscious level. You're making all these thousands and thousands of decisions on all of these visual cues that you're seeing that take away from what you're doing online. So one of my key things is make things simple for people to see, because you want the least amount of confusion in their subconscious or in their mind as you can, right? So that's why I use Stickman for almost everything. It virtually gets you. So here's the thing: we think in images. That's why we call things like imagination. We think in images. We do not think in words. Like, for instance, if I tell you right now, think of your house. You do not see the words HOUSE flash in your subconscious. You see probably a picture of your house. Or if I say, think of a car, boom, automatically, by default, you see an image of probably your car because it's the most recent. So that's why. So most of the stuff I do is with Stickman. So you're going to see that, but that is why. And again, if anybody's followed, like, God, who else? Bob Proctor used Stickman all the time for everything that he was doing. It's just a very good way to explain things and get things directly to someone's subconscious without a whole bunch of interference, without a whole bunch of triggers and associations kicking off. So that is why I do that. So just wanted to get that out of the way. All right. So if you've looked at any movie, every great movie that you love, I don't care what movie it is, from Star Wars to The Matrix to The Lion King, they all follow a timeless framework. and it's called the Journey's Hero. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have ever heard of Joseph Campbell, but in 1949 he wrote a book where he really put it's really timeless, but he actually put a framework to it, and it's called the Heroes Framework. We're not going to go through that. That's not part of this, but you can see kind of the framework of that. And the reason I put this up is the reason why this works is it isn't about the actions. It's literally what he's doing is he's taking you through a psychological blueprint for transformation that resonates with all of us at the deepest level of our experiences. It mirrors our own struggles, our breakthroughs, our growth. And just like in the movies, frameworks to captivate you, the perfect sales webinar is doing the same thing. So in other words, we're doing the same thing as every great movie. And here's the thing, it's almost like seeing the trick from the magician. It's like once you know this hero's journey, you'll never watch a movie the same way because you know exactly what's going to happen. You know how it's going to happen. You know what the journey is because they all follow the same framework. And a good webinar or a good sales presentation, and again, whether it's a challenge or a masterclass or a webinar, whatever you want to call it, all of the good ones follow the same framework. And it's a known framework. So today I wanted to take you through kind of that framework and why it matters and how you can look at adding it to your sales presentations. And again, it doesn't matter if your sales presentation is 10 minutes or 5 days. You just compress each of these little sections down into whatever time that you have, and you'll see the timeline. But again, the higher the value, the longer the sales presentation, or the longer the event that you want. The shorter, if you're doing a $97 to $197 coaching or a course or something, a 30-minute sales presentation is perfectly fine. Again, if you're going higher, you want more time. All right, so let me go to the next one. So I initially learned this from Dean Graziosi. Probably 6 years ago, and then later found out that it actually came from Russell Brunson. So Dean actually got it from Russell, and I kind of got it from Dean, and then obviously working with Russell over the past couple of years, I've learned quite a bit from him on this as well. He's the one who really came up with, he kind of put this framework together that everyone is using. And the core philosophy is this: you are not selling a product, you are selling a result. That's one of the things I really want you to take into your mind is you're not selling a product. You're not selling your coaching. You're not selling your course. You are selling a result. And that course or whatever it is that you offer, we'll call it an offer for here. So that's from here on out, we'll say it's an offer. Again, course, coaching, whatever it is, but your offer is just the vehicle to get them to that transformation, right? They're not buying the vehicle. They're at point A and they want to get to point B. What you're selling, what you're offering is the vehicle that gets them from point A to point B. And this is why I like using Russell's. Again, everyone uses this. They call things differently, but we're going to go with Russell's wording in here just because it makes so much sense. So think of it again. Think of that. Your offer is just the vehicle to get them to the transformation that they want. And one of the things that you need to do, so there's really 4 key things that you need to do in a sales presentation. One is the big domino, and that is one belief that if they believe that one thing, or if they understood that one thing to be true, that everything else, the sale would be done, right? If they understand your big domino, the sale would be done. And you're going to see, so we're going to go through kind of a little exercise of my Think and Grow Rich workshops, and you'll see some of this. So my big idea for the Think and Grow Rich workshop this year is I've created a Think and Grow Rich AI agent, a GPT agent for it, and I've also tied neuroscience to it. So my vehicle is, if you've ever been stuck with, Think and Grow Rich, you've read the book, you want it, but it's never been in your life. In other words, you can read it, but you've never lived it. This is the vehicle for it because you've got AI to help get clarity, to get speed. You've got the neuroscience that proves what he was saying. So my vehicle that I need people to understand, or I need people to accept when we get to my webinar for my Think and Grow Rich is they need to accept that, okay, this vehicle that Sean has now with AI attached to it and with neuroscience attached to it is finally going to get me to where I can live Think and Grow Rich and not just read Think and Grow Rich. Okay. Does anybody have a question on? Oh, God, Jesus. Duh. This might help you guys. See, I need to pay attention to the chat. Thank you, Linda. I'm going to try to move some of this so I can see the chat a little bit better. Okay, so sorry about that. So at least you didn't see. So let me just go back one then. Again, this is very non-formal. So here is, we were just talking about, so here is the hero's journey. So this is what I'm talking about when we say the hero's journey. This is what all movies are based off. This is everything follows the same arc. It doesn't matter what movie it is. Okay. So going on to the big domino. So they've got to believe your big domino. They got to believe that your vehicle, that your course, your whatever it is, your offer will get them, is the vehicle to use to get them from where they are now to where they want to be. Just remember, they're not buying the vehicle. They're buying where it's getting them to, right? So I want you to keep that in mind when you start to create your sales stuff. And if they do, if you get them to have that belief, the rest of the sales is going to be easy, right? They're going to sell themselves because they believe that what you have, that big idea, that big domino, that if they do that, they will get to where they want to go. So that's the biggest thing that you need to do. So it's the big domino. So always ask yourself, what's the one thing that if they believed this, they would buy the product, or they would buy the course, they would buy the offer, because it's a no-brainer at that point. So that is your big domino. So, and you can base, again, when you base a sales, and we'll get through mine, but when you base a sales webinar or sales event, those are the things, like, and only choose one. There might be 3 or 4 different dominoes that I have for that one thing, but for this sales event, I'm choosing one big domino to knock over, which will knock over all of those other objections, all those other internal and external beliefs that they have. If I get the big domino to fall, it will push those other ones over. Okay, and again, everybody does these. This is back from, I think, 2019. So that's Dean Graziosi. Does anybody remember like the first big thing that him and Tony and Russell did? It was called KBB. Does anybody remember the Knowledge Business Blueprint, KBB? I think it was back in 2019 they did it. At the time, it was the largest sales event from a webinar. I think they did like 40 million, 45 million on that one event for the KBB. And that right there, that picture right there, this is the actual perfect webinar that we're talking about that they drew out on paper. So that's Dean right there holding up obviously they didn't call it the perfect webinar, but that is the perfect webinar, the same thing, the same framework, everything within this is the same thing that we're going through today. So again, they all use it. All of them use it. I think this was like a 3-hour sales event. I think they might have called it a webinar back then. So it might've been the KBB webinar, who knows, but it was basically a 3-hour sales event. How many people were, and this was just this year, the Alex Hormozi's $105 million launch. So he had his new book, the 105 million money models. That webinar they did. So this was a 3-day webinar. So again, it's the same exact thing. It follows the framework that we're going to go through today. It follows the exact same thing as he did for this. This was for 3 days. So he did the same thing that Dean and Tony did in 3 hours. This one happened to be 3 days, but it's all the same thing. It's just you spend more time on each, and the bigger the ask, obviously the more time that you need to spend. So again, it doesn't matter who you follow. Anybody that's done a successful launch has pretty much followed this exact framework, this blueprint, whatever you want to call it. All right. So here is kind of the overview of the perfect webinar, right? So we'll say this one's for a 90-minute webinar, just to make it easy for us to look at. So again, you have the intro, origin story, and we're going to go through each one of these sections real quick. Intro, origin story, which is 15 minutes. Secret number 1, again, we're following Russell's nomenclature for this. So secret number 1 is the vehicle. What the vehicle that you use, your product, your offer, your service, that is the vehicle, right? And again, the big domino is to make them believe that your vehicle is the only vehicle that will take them from where they are to where they need to go. Secret number 2, or the second thing that you need to instill, is you need to conquer their internal beliefs. Right, so they have internal beliefs about whether or not that vehicle is the one for them. Then they have secret number 3, or the third thing that you need to do, is their external beliefs. There are things that are already in their mind. right? You don't have to, they're already in their mind. The second that someone has something, they're automatically going to have internal beliefs like, that's not for me. Oh, I can't do that. External beliefs like, oh, I'm not in the same market. I'm not, it won't work for me. It won't work for what I do, right? So you've got to do that. And then your stack and your close. Whether you call it a stack and a close or, and the stuff that's in here, again, people call it different things. Like Alex Hormozy will call this section right here, he calls it a money. He basically calls this a money model. So this is how you get someone to, again, this is what he calls it as a money model. All right. So those are the basic things of a perfect webinar or perfect sales webinar. So again, you've got your intro, you've got, the vehicle that this is your, this is kind of, again, this is your offer that you're doing. Then you take away any internal beliefs, external beliefs, and then you go to the stack and close. And that's basically what a sales webinar, again, a sales event looks like. Now I can tell you this, so for instance, when I go to launch the Think and Grow Rich workshop this year, I will use a sales event to create the sale or to get people in. And I can tell you from experience over the past 6 years, I would say 80% of the total sales of my Think and Grow Rich stuff or any other stuff I've done will come from a live event, right? So the way that I do this particular product line is I record a Think and Grow Rich workshop every single year. So at the beginning of the year, I do one, bring people into an event, sell them into the workshop that we do, which is normally, I've done them anywhere from 5-day intensives to 8-week things I've formatted them differently, but into those workshops. Then the rest of the year, I sell at Evergreen on my site. But 80% of the sales ultimately come from the live events that I do. That's how important doing things live. People will buy things from you live much quicker than they will just see you on a website or see you on a post and go to buy from you. Okay, so that's why you see most people do live events for their sales. Again, they call them whatever, they call them challenges, they call them webinars, whatever it is, but they're all basically the same thing. They're there to teach you, add value, but then make you an offer to take that further, right? That's what they are. All right, so again, these are the 3 things that you must have. Again, we'll call them secrets here, but the real job is breaking the 3 core false beliefs that stop people from buying. Right. So the 3 false beliefs is number 1 is the vehicle. Again, that's your offer. That's your thing that's going to take them from where they are now to where they want to be. And they're going to have, whenever you do anything like this, they're going to have false beliefs about it, right? They're going to have, I call it the belief system. I call it BS. They're going to have their own BS about it, their own belief system of why this won't work for them. For instance, this won't work. This method isn't right approach. So your job during this section is to sell the new opportunity, the mechanism, the system, whatever it is, and not your product. Like you're selling this mechanism, you're selling this thing as the vehicle to get them from here to there. And again, we'll get to how you do that. But that's going to be section number 1. So you always want to have, you want to have the intro section, then you want to have your vehicle section. Next section is your internal beliefs. You've got to crush their internal beliefs. Your job is to eliminate the internal beliefs that are already in their mind before you even say anything, before they have to ask you. You want to eliminate as many of their internal beliefs before you get to the sales, right? Because if you went directly from, for instance, from the vehicle right into your sales pitch or right into your sales, your offer stack, you will lose a majority of the people because in their minds, they still have internal beliefs that it will not work for them, right? Does that make sense? Let's see. Yes, sharing. Okay. So then the next one is secret number 3, which is your internal beliefs. So, the false belief might be, even if I could do it, I know it's going to work. I know that so in their mind, it's like, okay, the vehicle works. I know that it would work for me, but then there's external beliefs that come in. Like, even if it did work, my situation won't let me do it. It won't, I'm in too small of a market. I don't have a big audience. I don't, again, whatever it is, they have these external limiting beliefs that your job is to neutralize those before you get to your sales slide. So you build these. So here's the art of doing a sales presentation. All of these beliefs, these false beliefs that they have, this BS that they have, you want to weave those into your stories as you're doing your sales presentation that eliminate those beliefs from their head without you really saying those beliefs, if that makes sense. Okay, so how do you do that? So how do you go about doing the secret 1, 2, and 3? How do you physically do that? So the way that I've done it, and everyone does it, is through story, right? Story is what you could give all the bullet points that you want, but story is what people resonate with. Story is what people remember. Story is what sells things. That's the way it is, and Russell calls this the Epiphany Bridge, and it's a framework that uses story to create a belief shift. So again, all of these stories that you do are stories to create a shift in the way that they believe. If they've got a belief that it won't work, your story is going to come in with a better story of why it will work. Does that make sense? So you're crushing their limiting beliefs, you're crushing their false beliefs with stories that overtake their stories, with stories that eliminate theirs. It won't work in my, like if you, and again, you have to know your audience a little bit. So for instance, in my audience, if their big thing is it'll never work for me because I have a small email list or I'm in a small market. One of my stories is going to be of a success of someone in a small market, either me or someone I know or something that's a story that follows this Epiphany Bridge that eliminates that belief within their mind before they even ask it, before you even get to the sales. So again, you got the struggle, like the pain, the failed tries that you've done, the journey, the stakes, the obstacles, your epiphany. How did you find a why that would work for you? What was the epiphany that you had to get you to understand that new opportunity? What brought you there? And then the framework. But here's the thing: you don't teach people the hows. You teach them a framework of what. So you teach them the what, not necessarily the hows, within these sales presentations. I can tell you this: the biggest killer of sales in a sales webinar is too much teaching, too much training. Like for instance, if I was sitting here trying to do let's say I had a class on building the perfect webinar, right? And this was an actual class. I would not be giving you these details, right? I would be giving you the frameworks, but not the details of how to actually do it, if that makes sense. And then every story should have some proof of a result of either your win or someone else's win, and the believable outcome. So here's what you're doing with each one of these stories is you are conquering their fears. You're conquering their disbeliefs. So let's go back one slide. So for instance, each one of these sections should have at least one Epiphany Bridge story, right? At least one. Now you could have more. So again, if you're in a 30-minute one, you might have just a little, Epiphany Bridge story for each one of these things, right? It's not a big ticket item. It's just so you have one. If you're in a bigger event, let's say it's a 3-day event, you might have, let's say you have 5 disbeliefs or limiting beliefs for the external things. Like you get a lot of people that say, oh, it'll never work in my market, or it'll never work in whatever their external belief is, that this mechanism or this vehicle will not work. You would have an Epiphany Bridge story for each one of those limiting beliefs or each one of those false beliefs that they have. So one of the things that I teach you to do is you go in and you do your market analysis, and you know exactly who your customer is. You know what their limiting beliefs are before you even do this. Right. So you know that they're going to have, I don't have the time for this. I don't have the money for this. I don't have whatever that external belief is. And you build an Epiphany Bridge story and you're not trying to, you don't tell them you're trying to conquer or crush their limiting beliefs or their false beliefs. You're just doing these stories, and internally it's automatically doing that. Right. Internally, you're automatically taking care of those without them even knowing it. So this is kind of the psychology of a sales presentation. So you've got the bridge story, and then so after you've done that, so you've taken them through. You've said, okay, here's the vehicle that will get you to your promised land. This will take you today. This will take you from here to there. If they've believed it, and if you've done Epiphany Bridge story, and if you've done it, they're going to say, yeah, that is Sean, that's exactly what I need to be able to finally implement Think and Grow Rich into my life. I need this workshop to finally do it. You showed me the vehicle with the AI and this other stuff that's what I need. And then you've gone through your through your others, like your internal beliefs, your external beliefs, and then you finally get to what they call is the stack and the close section of a sales webinar. Now, I can tell you this: most people, including me, I would skim this. I had the biggest. This was probably one of my biggest limiting beliefs of myself when I first started doing this years ago. Is I would do this webinar and I would do these things, and then I would get to the sales side, and I'd spend like 30 seconds. Oh yeah, and if you want to join, here's this, and I'd move on. Right? That was an internal limiting belief that I had. And if you notice, I'm going to go back here to the timeline. I want you to notice that your intro, 15 minutes. So again, this is on a 90-minute. You grow this, shrink this, however big, however long your sales event is. 15 minutes. Secret number 1, 15 minutes. Secret number 2, 15 minutes. Secret number 3, 15 minutes. The stack and close, 30 minutes. You need to spend way more time than you think. You need to spend way more time than you're comfortable with. It's going to be very like the first few times that you go through this, it will be very uncomfortable to spend that much time on a stack and a close. And that's just some of your own internal, limiting beliefs or your false beliefs that, but trust me, you need to spend more time on the stack and close than you think you do. You absolutely do. So again, I would skim through this and I'd wonder, well, why did I only had a couple of people sign up for this? I'm like, when I go back and look and it's like, oh, well, you spent 3 seconds on the slide and they didn't even know how to sign up. And it's like, so you got to make sure that you pay attention or you give it its due diligence to do the stack and the close. Now, we won't go through a full stack and close here because that's literally that's an art of itself on the stack and the close. But it's something. So if you've ever been through a webinar and I almost think of it sometimes as, those late night infomercials. Oh, but wait, there's more. Oh, but wait, $9.95. But wait, there's more. That's exactly what you're doing on this, right? That's what the stack is. So you're stacking things together. Like you'll look at that, the component 1, this is the thing that you're selling. This is your vehicle. Component 1 solves a problem. Component 2 solves problem Y. Now, I can tell you this: whatever you put in this stack of benefits for your sales needs to all be together in a sense. In other words, if you're a swimming coach and you're teaching swimming, and bonus number 1 or component number 2 is going to be a special swim thing, and bonus number 3 is going to be a golf swing analyst. It's like they have to solve the same problem. They have to solve the same problem, just a different part of the journey, if that makes sense. So you don't want to throw something in your offer stack that will actually confuse people. It's got to go very well with what you are doing. It's got to go in alignment with it, and it's got to be a part of it. Don't just throw everything in the kitchen sink in it, because that will actually reduce your sales more than anything. Right? That will reduce it more than anything. So close sequence, the transition, the stack value. So, and again, I don't want to go through this. The stack itself is an art form, and it's like maybe I'll do something in a week or two on actually just a close, just the stack and a close, like how I would build the true stack and a close to the Think and Grow Rich. Matter of fact, I haven't even done that on that presentation yet, but we will. I've got some things in there that you can see. So, okay. So does anybody have any questions? So if we go through this. So here's just a kind of a simple skeleton for you to follow. You've got the intro, you've got the big promise. This is the thing. You've got a hook that keeps them to the end, and you're going to notice that this in my presentation, a hook that keeps them to the end, a quick authority and relatability. Why, this is basically why they need to listen to you or why they should listen to you. And then you got your teaching. So you've got your introduction, again, the big domino, the core belief that you're trying to impart in them, that if they believe this one thing, they're going to buy my offer, because that one thing, if they believe that, they would feel stupid internally not to do the offer because it makes that much sense, right? So then you got secret, again, vehicle, the internal and the external. You can call it secret 1, secret 2, secret 3, but whatever, however you want to call it, you want those 3 things. You've got to do those 3 false beliefs, because if you don't, your sales are going to suffer. Because I can tell you, no matter what you do, if you have a sales presentation, no matter what it is, you're always going to have, they've got false beliefs on whether your thing is going to work or not, right? JJ, that's not going to work. Sorry, JJ, that's not going to work for me. Right. So they've got the, like, so you've got to do that false belief. They're going to have internal beliefs and they're going to have external false beliefs about that. And again, to me, it's BS. It's their belief system, but it is truly BS. It's their own bullshit in their minds that will prevent them from purchasing your thing or your vehicle to get them to that. Then you got your stack and close, and that's basically what a sales presentation is. And if you look at if you go back to and analyze any of these, whether it's from Alex Hormozy, whether it's from Russell Brunson, whether it's from Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, it doesn't matter. They all follow the same thing. Just like every movie, every successful movie follows the hero's journey. Right? It's the same thing. And this is from a psychological standpoint. This isn't just you should do this, you should do this. There is very specific psychological reasons why you take them through those, why you handle those beliefs, those false beliefs before you get to the sale. Because if you don't, they won't buy, right? If they don't believe all these things, the likelihood of them buying is not good. So again, and as you build it, so here, and again, the art form is building this in through stories to take care of all those false beliefs. But if you do one, let's say it's a 30-minute one, a 60-minute one, it doesn't matter, and you put all of these in, I will 100% guarantee that your conversion rate will skyrocket compared to what you did the time before. Because you've answered the questions at a subconscious level in their minds before you made the offer. And if you're really good, and you might have noticed this, like if you've been through one, put it in the chat, yes, if you've been through one before where you're going through one of these webinars or these sales presentations, and before they even make the offer, you're like, I am doing this. This is exactly what I need. Right? There's people who are so good at this that before they even make the offer, you're like, take my money. Here's my wallet. Take it. It's like, because they've done this and they know exactly what limiting beliefs that we have, and they've answered all of those. So my mind before I even get there is, yes, this will work for me. This is what's going to take me from A to B. Again, I don't care about what they're selling. And again, we talked about this at the beginning. It doesn't matter what they're selling or what you're selling. People aren't buying what you're selling. They're not buying the gadgets. They're not buying, the techno jargon. They're not buying any of that crap. And I don't say crap, it's good stuff, but they're not buying any of that stuff. They're buying the result that gets them. So when you focus on selling the result, not the doodad, your sales will increase. Okay, so that is kind of the perfect webinar. Again, everyone that does good does this exact thing. They look a little bit different. They sound a little different. They're different lengths. Again, you can go from 30 minutes to 5 days on these, and each thing just takes you the longer it is, the more false beliefs that you get to conquer. Right? If you're on a 30-minute one, you might only be able to do one false belief on each one of those things. If you're on a 3-hour one, you can probably do 2 to 3 false belief epiphany bridge stories on each one of those things. And the more you can do, the more likely it is that they're going to buy. But it's also, you don't want to spend so much time if it's a $47 product, right? They don't want to spend, their time is money as well. So, they don't want to waste 3 hours on something that's going to cost them $45. Okay. It's the best way to get people to come to the event. Email, what else? So there's a lot of different ways, and we will talk about that. We will do that in probably another training session, but part of it is list building. It's lead gen. I will probably be doing a lead gen training. Maybe I'll try doing it next week. Just doing a quick lead gen, because I had you guys, there's on the main school thing, like what's the biggest thing holding you back? A lot of people put the lead gen stuff. So we will do a lead gen way to do it. So there's many ways to do lead gen depending on what your outcome is and will. So we'll do that. So I wanted to take you through kind of what I'm doing for my Think and Grow Rich. And again, this is just a skeleton thing. This isn't necessarily what I'm going to do. I just kind of threw this together as a skeleton thing for this training, but hopefully you'll see kind of what's happening. And I'm not giving you this, I'm not going to give you this webinar. You're not going through the Think and Grow Rich webinar. That's not what this is about. I will probably not go through any of this. It's just to show you the things that we did, the limiting beliefs, and kind of tie them into what I'm doing for mine, right? So again, my big idea here, if you look at it, is Think and Grow Rich, the AI-powered entrepreneur's blueprint, neuroscience plus AI plus timeless philosophy. So my big idea that I'm trying to the big domino that I need to fall for people who come to this webinar is, yes, this combination of these three things, which nobody's doing, this is the vehicle that will get me from just reading or just interested in Think and Grow Rich to actually implementing into my life. Right. So that's that's the big domino that I need to do in order for this webinar to be successful. And so what I'll do is I basically take them through. Again, we're not going to go through all these different things. So we're going to take them through, I'll take them through this. Now, one of the things I said earlier on is you want to have a hook to keep them to the end, right? So you'll notice, like, again, part of what I do, so sometimes I will do these events with like Russell, or matter of fact, the only reason I did the one with Alex Ramosi on that the $105 million launch they did, the only reason I did that is so I could see the back end of what he was doing. But one of the things that you're going to notice, like I was going with that is I do these events mainly to analyze and try to reverse engineer them. I'm like, okay, something's working. Why? So I always try to reverse engineer everything. But anyways, one of the things that you'll notice is they all have what I call a reveal at the end, right? Stay to the end, and I'm going to give you this free bonus, or I'm going to give you this free AI. So like here on this one, I'm actually going to take them through and give them a free AI for Think and Grow Rich to help them do some things with AI. So stay to them because, again, what's your job in a sales position? You eliminate the false beliefs that they have. So if they don't stay to the end, yes, they're going to get the follow-up emails that say, hey, we did this thing. It was a webinar. Here's the sales, right? So if you want to sign up, after the fact, so you always have sales campaigns, you have email campaigns afterwards. So, okay. So, but if they don't stay to the end, they're never going to have those limiting beliefs or those false beliefs answered, right? So your job is to try to keep them on the line, keep them watching so they can have those false beliefs disappear, right? Again, because if they just know what it is, they leave and they get an email saying, hey, you can sign up for $9.97. Likely they're not going to do it, right? Because they weren't on long enough to get their false beliefs eliminated. Okay, so you'll notice that they all do that. So I always have something of value to give them for staying to the end. So that's a big thing to do. That's a big thing that if you really want to have good conversions for your sales webinars, you want to do that. Okay, so basically take them through the vehicle, why Think and Grow Rich, why am I teaching this? So this is basically like my epiphany. Why am I teaching this? So remember we talked about epiphany story. So this is part of the epiphany story for me of Think and Grow Rich, but I didn't live it. So yeah, I believed it, but I didn't live it. So that's what I'm taking them through when I do this. So this is the epiphany bridge. And again, for this test, for you guys is like, here's the implementation bridge. Right, the AI core, so again, I'm trying to show you guys what I would do for Think and Grow Rich, and then, so here's the core message. So Think and Grow Rich, the vehicle that I have. Again, you're not seeing all the back end stuff that I would talk them through. You're just kind of seeing the graphics. But basically, where we're at right now is okay. With this vehicle, we've unlocked the time, we've unlocked consistency, we've unlocked confidence. So what I'm doing is I'm taking them through, this is the fourth one, of limiting false beliefs that they have about Think and Grow Rich, or whether they can, the limiting belief is they can't implement Think and Grow Rich into their life. They've read it, they can't do it, they've tried it before. So this whole thing is, okay, I'm eliminating those false beliefs. No, it can work for you because we've got AI. Here's proof. Well, we can do it because here's the neuroscience behind why it works. Oh, it can work for you. So that's what I'm doing right here is I'm eliminating any false beliefs on my vehicle that my Think and Grow Rich workshop will get them from point A to point B, right? So then we go to philosophy doesn't, let me see, okay. Try to get to so here's the big domino. So upgrade number one. So this is the big dominoes. Like if you have these three things, this is where it executes. So you've got the Think and Grow Rich principles. You've got the TAGR GPT AI. You've got the brain, basically the neuroscience stuff, and it all comes together. And this is how you execute it. So I'm just going to go through some of these. I don't want to take through all of this stuff. Let me see, where am I? Okay, secret number two. So that secret number one, so all of that right here was all taking them through the vehicle. So this is all eliminating anything on the vehicle, why this will work when other things have failed for them in the past. Okay, so now we get to secret number two. So again, number two is we want to crush any internal beliefs, that false beliefs that they have about why. So again, it's not necessarily their false beliefs. It's the false beliefs of why your vehicle would not work for them, right? Internal false beliefs of why the vehicle, not everyone has tons of internal false beliefs, but the ones that would prevent them from saying, yes, this vehicle that you have is the one for me. So again, this one is, for instance, I go through, I'm not consistent. Truth is, you need a loop. You need technology. You need things to keep it in a loop, right? So that's one of the false beliefs based on experience is that my people have, is that they've read it, but they're just inconsistent. Right. So I'm going to crush them with a story that says, okay, you don't need to be consistent. That's not the problem. The problem is not it's not willpower. The problem is you don't have a loop in place, a success loop in place to keep you going. Right. I take them through some things. We actually do a live demo of the AI to show them like, oh, wow, I can do this. And yes, I can keep this up. Right. So that, again, all I'm doing is I'm trying to eliminate any false beliefs that they have. So go through, and again, this is, I think, a 90-minute webinar, so I spend a little bit of time on those. So then we get to secret number three, which is the internal beliefs, right? So for me, I know based on experience that the three biggest, the false beliefs that people have when I'm presenting this to them is, one, they don't have the time to do that. It's like, I don't have the time to implement Think and Grow Rich. It's like, it's going to take me all day, every day. It's like, it's like that. I don't have the time. Or I'm not in a market that would do that, right? I can't do that. And then prompts. It's like, I'm not a tech person. Like, I can't do AI. I'm not a tech person. Well, I need to, so part of my presentation is to show that you're not doing AI. You don't need to be a techie. You don't need to be, you don't need to work at Best Buy and be a part of the Geek Squad. You simply run a few commands, copy and paste a few things, and you've got it. So it's like, I need to, but again, when I first go to this, I guarantee that a lot of people will have. How many people here, like if I say it's going to include AI to help you implement, help you get clarity, help you get the clarity and the speed that you need to implement this fast? How many? I'm just curious. How many would you raise your hand and say, "Well, I don't know AI. I'm not an AI. I'm not a tech person." Many people. I mean, I'm sure anybody here is there, but most of the people that I have will say that. It's like, so again, that's one of the things that I need to. That's one of the dominoes that I need to have fall for them to purchase or for them to do the Think and Grow Rich workshop. Okay. So again, you don't need more clarity, you need speed. So it's like all the things I'm doing are in alignment with that perfect webinar. That's all I'm doing is I'm doing epiphany bridge stories to eliminate any of the false beliefs on the vehicle, on the internal disbeliefs, and on the external. That is literally all it is. And it's just weaving them into the epiphany bridge stories. Maybe I'll do one as well just on epiphany bridge stories, like creating an epiphany bridge story, because I think that is a big one as well. So I'm going to write that down, that the Epiphany Bridge story. Okay, so I'm going to get that one. Okay, so that is basically all it is. And then you basically get into, now you always want to ask them, is it okay if I show you how you can move forward if you want to work with me further? But it's always asking, you never just go into a sales slide deck, into your close without asking for their permission. So again, this is just an example that I just threw up, but this is not, I will do a whole thing on just the stack and the close. But for instance, if you've ever been to a webinar, it's never, oh, and I know this because I made this mistake. So for 2 or 3 years, I would do my webinars to get people to buy the Think and Grow Rich workshop. And I would go to my close, and not only would I not spend much time on it, but then it would just be one thing. Okay, join for $9.97 or join for $4.97. That's all it was. Right? I didn't do a value stack. So you'll notice that most of the people will do a value stack because subconsciously they want to make sure that they're getting a good value. Again, this is selling of this is a very subconscious level way to do things. But so for instance, on this one, I could do, okay, you're going to get the workshop is $9.97 normally for the workshop. I'm going to give you the ChatGPT AI. You get lifetime access to that, which is worth $19.97 at least for all the stuff that. So basically, there's an AI for every step in Think and Grow Rich. So in other words, no matter what step it is, there's an actual AI agent that will go and help them get clarity and the work done to be able to implement at a much higher speed than they could individually, right? And it's very. I'm not. Have you? How many people here have read Think and Grow Rich? Like, raise your hand if you read. Okay, so okay, so you know that it's Think and Grow Rich is not one of those books that you just pick up and read and implement. It is something that you truly have to become, and it's very hard to do. As a matter of fact, so this is one of my prized possessions. Sorry. So this right here, I'm not sure if you can see that. This is not only this is a first edition of Think and Grow Rich, but this is a first edition. So there was only 500. The first print of Think and Grow Rich ever, there was 500 copies made. This is one of those 500. One of my this was actually given to me from Russell Brunson. I helped him launch the Secrets of Success platform, and that was a gift. So he's insane when it comes to books. Okay, so where was I? So we will do a thing on a close. So you never really want to just do a close. You never just want to say, okay, here's the offer. You want to actually build the value in. And everything that again, I talked about this at the beginning, everything that you put in here should be in alignment with what they are doing. And one of the ways to look at it is your offer is going to get them from A to B, right? Well, their next problem is going to be getting to C. And the problem after that is going to be getting to D. Right. So if you do this and you say, okay, here's point A to point B, it's worth $9.97. Oh, well, I'm also going to throw in point C to D or B to C, which is worth $19.97. I'm also going to throw in what's going to take you from C to D, which is valued at $197. So it's like it's all, you're not just throwing the kitchen sink out there to try to put a whole bunch of crap out there that says this is worth $50,000. I'm charging you, $9. You're not doing that. You're actually saying, okay, everything in your offer pitch or in your offer stack should have the value, and it should continue what they're doing. It should help them it should either help them get to from point A to B even faster, or a tool to do that, or help them solve another problem that they're going to see when they get to B, when they get to that problem. And so you do your offer stack and it's like on today only it's $9.97. So that is what they call an offer stack, or whatever your offer, whatever it is. But that in itself is I want to say an art form. It truly is an art form, and it's something that you test and you do and you retest and you redo. What works better with what? So it's something that you're always working with, kind of an ebb and flow thing of how you do things. But that is an offer stack, and rarely do I see anybody now just present an offer for what they're selling, and that's it. And I'm not sure if that's good, if it's bad, or if people are just used to it. Like people are now accustomed to I'm not just going to buy that because I know that I can go and someone's going to offer that and these other three things. It's like, I'm not sure if we've just built in kind of that expectation from the marketplace now. But I can tell you that this is the way that it works best. This is your highest conversion thing. And you'll even notice when people do that, and again, it's like one of those late night things. Wait, but there's but there's more. So it's like, so you'll see people do fast action bonuses, right? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to, one, you've just eliminated false beliefs, but people still have beliefs, right? They're still going to be on the fence. They're still going to. So by offering these different things, you're just pushing them past their limiting beliefs into taking you up on your offer. Right, so that's that, and that is literally what a sales presentation is. That's all it is, but it is from a psychological standpoint. There's a reason that you do those things, and there's a way that you do them. But once you understand it, it's like once you understand the trick, that there's no longer magic in it, right? It's oh, of course, that's how it's done. It's like again, if you learn the hero's journey, once you understand that, I'm telling you, don't read that book if you don't want your movies ruined from now on. Because every single movie, you're going to be sitting there if you understand the framework, you're going to be sitting in every movie saying, okay, here comes this. Yeah, there it is. Oh, here's the journey. Oh, yep, there it is. It's like every movie. So it will ruin your movie experience if you understand that. But it is a good book. Okay, so that is basically the training. Again, I just wanted to take you guys through what a sales presentation was, kind of what I'm doing on the back end for mine, and that's really what today was about. and I will do these as often as I can, hopefully once every week or two, on just again something that I hope gets the wheels turning in your head on. Okay, here's kind of a way that I can move, or here's kind of a way I can do that, and again, to me that's what this community is for helping each other out, for getting everybody ahead, and any questions, you can come off mic as well. It's again, this is a small thing. If you have a question, just go ahead and unmic and ask, or if you can type it in the chat if you want. I've got at least, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes that I can spend doing some Q&A with you. Yeah, Malay.
Hi, thanks for Sean. So I saw you in a couple of Russell's events, so that's how I got familiar with you. Do you have any recommendation of virtual assistants who's an expert in help using, is it Doodly or will the Doodly
Oh
all
yeah,
the
so
artworks?
yeah. Here's the thing: you don't even need Doodle anymore. Like this whole presentation right here that I did,
Yes.
I basically did it for this. Like to do this, this took about a minute in Nano Banana Pro, like AI.
Oh, so AI helped. So it just
Yeah,
prompting and they help you with all of the
it
stick
built the entire
figures that you
presentation.
mentioned?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, so it's like you don't need. It's like nowadays you don't need Doodly, and you can actually turn. So let me go to one that's maybe has a little bit more stuff in it. So for instance, you could
yeah.
even have this doing some animation on, and it's all within like, there's tons of platforms out there. As a matter of fact, OpenAI just opened up their AI video or their AI images, which will be a lot better than what was in there before. You've got these were all done in Nano Banana, which is Google's AI for image, but it's all literally I did my kind of my outline of what I wanted and said, hey, I want my stickman. So I've given it like commands, like it knows my stickman style, which is just basically, I know, 7 or 8 lines, like stickman, pure white background, doodle, like, so it knows what to do. And it literally just did all those. Those were done in probably honestly, no more than 10 minutes. Like I didn't need to learn, you don't need to learn Doodly anymore. You don't need to learn any of those anymore unless you really want to. It's like it will do it by itself.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's so
Yes.
valuable. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And maybe I'll take some people through some AI stuff too. Cause again, I think so AI for us, AI as a tool is absolutely a necessity. So for instance, for me to do this training a year ago, it would have taken me a long time to do the graphics just for this simple little presentation, right? I probably wouldn't have done it. The value, the hours it would have taken to do all those graphics would have not been worth the training, right? It just wouldn't have. So with AI, it can help us get faster, get further faster, which is what AI is for, using it as a tool. So there's multiple ways that you can go with AI. One, you can become an AI expert and try to do your own AI stuff. You can do, but that's changing so fast that it is insane to become an expert because you are literally nonstop learning every day. It's doubling. It's just insane. Or you can look at and find the best tools you can to do what you do quicker and with less effort, right? So that's what I've done. So it's like that literally took, again, 10 minutes max to generate all of those graphics for this presentation.
Thank you again. That's so helpful because I was going to have my virtual assistants that, do a lot. And so,
Right.
again, this to me, and I think, I don't know if the rest of the people know, but this is like, that advice is literally thousands of dollars worth of time.
Absolutely, it is, and it's like, and it's changing so fast, so it's hard to give advice on AI right now. But again, whether you use OpenAI's ChatGPT's new image thing, because their image stuff was not really great until their new, and I think it was literally just in the last 3 or 4 days, you now have image within ChatGPT, which does a much better job. And then obviously Nano Banana has been, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months that it's been really kind of out there. So it's, but again, it changes so fast.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
It's JJ.
Yeah,
How you doing?
good. How are you doing?
Wonderful check. So this webinar walkthrough, is this something that's coming out? Is this a product offer that
No,
you're?
nope. It was just so basically, I'm trying to build my community up, which I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a really good community with good assets in it, good resources for people.
Yeah.
And what I like doing is, I was literally in the middle of doing my presentation for Think and Grow Rich. Again, I'll be launching that in January, and this is not to sell you into Think and Grow Rich, right? But it's like, okay, I'm doing that, but why don't I just document that and train on that? So it's like I don't have a product for doing webinars. I don't have. I can recommend various ways, but this is how I do it, and this is how. So I've done launches for probably 50 plus different product launches for Alex Ramosi, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson. I've done launches with all of them. I've been on
Wow.
their stages. I've done this stuff, and it's like every one of them. This is what. So, and I do those things for reasons that I want. I want a free education. Yes, they pay, and it's like that's all fine. But I really do those because I learn more of how they do their things than
Yeah.
anything. And
Yes.
so that's what this is like. This is how I'm doing this. This is what's working in the industry right now. Again, in 6 months, this might not be the best way to do things, but for right now, these sales presentations, sales webinars, challenges, however you want to do it. So depending on what you're doing, like what your offer is, depending on the price point that you're trying to get for it, depending on who your customer avatar is, will dictate really how you want to do your sales presentation.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I've got friends like Coach, or she does an email list building thing, but she does a 5-day challenge. Her clients are busy moms, right? They can't spend 2 days full immersion learning how to build lists. So because of her clientele, she does a 5-day challenge, which is like 10, 15 minutes a day for 5 days, which busy moms can actually do, right? So it's like depending
Awesome.
on
Awesome.
who your customer avatar is, how you want to. If your customer avatar is busy business people that are at a certain level, sometimes like a 3-day immersion, like they will get 3 days and they will just pound through it for 3 days, right? If it is again, so it just depends on who your customer avatar is, and it's like one of the things I always. So one of the questions I always get is like, so this presentation, the sales presentation, is going to get someone into my Think and Grow Rich workshop, right? And I'll get questions all the time on coaching is like, how long should your coaching be? How long should that workshop be? Should it be a 8-week workshop? Should it be a 2-day workshop? And again, it goes back to who your client is. But if I ask anybody, would you if I can instill this into you and you learn this and you become this or you do this, would you rather it take 12 weeks or would you rather it take 2 days? And everyone's like, oh, well, I'll do it in a 2-day thing because I'd much rather people will buy that over. And there, again, you have to always realize that how you package your stuff, whether it's the timeline, a 12-week thing, an 8-week thing, subconsciously people always are thinking like, oh, I can't, 8 weeks is too long. It's like, so always think of the subconscious things that are going to come up on how you package it. So if you package it as a 2-day intensive, that's going to be much better for a lot of people rather than an 8-week thing. So again,
Yeah.
all of that depends on your particular product or offer that you're trying to do and your particular customer avatar.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that.
Mhm. Matter of fact, I might even take people on doing a customer avatar. So it's like I've got an AI prompt that literally takes what you have and tells you what your customer avatar is. It's like, okay, it's going to be, males or females between this is their pain points. This is their, so how you build, like how I build my presentations, because like your part of your goal in the sales presentation is to kill these limiting beliefs, these false beliefs, right? They're pain points. And it's like having that customer avatar, knowing what those are, when they go through the presentation, they're like, oh, this is just for me. That's exactly what I needed. But it's because you know exactly who they are and what their pain points are, what their limiting beliefs are going to be. You know all of that stuff. So doing that ahead of time will save you years of time because I probably did Think or Rich for 3 or 4 years before I ever really did anything with like customer avatars. And it's like, man, if I would have known back then what I know now, it's like it would have blown up in the first year.
Yeah, yeah. I'm part of a other community, and so he posted, and then he said he actually recognized you, and so he recommended for me to check you out, and so I came to
Oh,
your
good.
community. I joined, and I'm on your workshop already. So,
Nice.
but I
Nice.
just wanted, and I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm going to learn a lot. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Good. Good. So thank you. Yeah. So I will do like maybe a little AI thing as well in the next week or so. Like try getting something up there for an AI design. But yeah, it's nowadays it's like most of the stuff that you do can be done with AI pretty easily if you just have some basic knowledge of where to go. That's the biggest thing. The biggest problem is there's 95 million different AI things out there now, and trying to keep up with them is
Wow.
kind of a problem. Yep.
And
All
then with the
right.
AI, can you do also tie in the customer avatar too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So we can
that
do
would
the
be great.
customer. Matter of fact,
Thank
I'll
you.
do maybe I'll do that one because I've that's already done. It's already like I use that all the time. So that's something. So like one of the things that I do is I run things called mastermind groups, and
Okay.
it's truly just they're not like people call everything a mastermind nowadays, but a
Right.
true mastermind group is each one of my groups is no more than 8 to 10 people, and it's like you get to know each other. It's like they become your confidants of your personal and your business life. It's like they become your executive team. It's a truly a good thing. But I normally only do all that through my mastermind groups. Like I teach this through in my mastermind groups, but I've never done it. Outside of it, I don't do courses on it. But I'll do I'll do that customer avatar in the
Okay.
group. I think
Great.
that alone, if you so here's the thing. So you talked about earlier, how to get people, right? Email list,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I always think of an email list as the number one thing. Even still, it's like if you think about it, TikTok is what looks like it's going to be banned tomorrow. So you think
Right.
all these people spent all this time getting their, getting their followers, but they don't own any of that. And when it shuts off, those people, they're SOL. Their business is gone, right? So it's like
Right.
your only job or your my only job on social media is to get people off social media onto my email list. That's
Okay.
my but the only reason I ever do social media is to get people on my list, right? Because once they're
Okay.
on your list, they can't take that away. They can't. You are in control. You basically own your own platform. So that is, as a matter of fact, I have on in the thing. There's a free masterclass for list building
Okay.
that you can do. That's the number one thing you can do to start growing. So 90, I'd say 95% of my sales come from my list. I do all these lead gen things to get people on my list, but I don't sell that way. I lead gen and then sell to my list is the method that I use. It's much more effective, much more cost effective than trying to run millions of dollars of ads for a product for a launch, which you can do if you do it right and you can make money at it. So, but it's
Okay.
tough. You got to know what you're doing. It's like I would never recommend someone new to go and run ads to sell a $50 product, $100, $200 product, because you're probably going to lose money. And it's just you have to know exactly what you're doing. And so, but it's easy to get people with a good lead magnet for very cheap, and then you're in control of dripping information on them for when you do sell stuff.